USA Network, and so I explored the city a little bit. I walked around the convention center, but this is my first time in it, and I ate some really good food, met some really good people. So I'm excited to see a little bit more.
There we go. Awesome. Now we're glad to have you here. Of course, do we have Walking Dead fans in the house? Walking Dead. Excellent. Perfect.
Are you guys up to date on the season? Yeah. All right. So who's catching up? Who's still catching up? I'm excited for you guys who are catching up because I love this season. There's some new characters coming, and I don't know if you know. This is a slight spoiler if you haven't, but Judith has grown up a little bit, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. She is just the best. She is sort of Rick's daughter. but as far as like her heart and everything and the character, she really is Rick's daughter, and I can't wait for you to see more of that. Who's seen the season so far? Who's up to date? Isn't it great? The dynamic is great. Were you all freaked out when Rick was leaving? Y'all freaking out? Me too. I packed my bags. I was like, I don't even know why I'm coming here. I'm putting my stuff away. I'm getting back in. I'm getting on the airplane. I'm leaving. And then I started watching the episodes, and it was almost like he had to kick us out of the nest. You know what I mean? For it to kind of come alive again. And I'm really excited about where it's going. I'm hoping they're gonna give me a new pet. I keep asking for an elephant. I feel like an elephant is a good apocalypse animal. You know, they got a nice thick skin you can't bite through. You can just step on a walker. If I get on his back, I'm up high. I've thought this through. So if you happen to see an elephant, it was my idea. Okay? So don't start going on the internet and saying that it was stupid. Because it was my idea.
Speaking of the current season, I read that the season 9 is currently the highest rated season on Rotten Tomatoes, the amalgamated. So
nice.
There we go.
I was not aware of that, but thank you very much.
And of course, but there's lots of Walking Dead in the news. Obviously, the Rick movie trilogy.
Sure.
It was announced recently that there's another Walking Dead spin-off in the works.
Man, they're always coming up with something. If they can stick a zombie in it, it's gonna, then the Big Bang Theory, they're just gonna have like Sheldon running around, trying to, stay away from zombies. If they can stick a zombie in it, a walker in it, then they're gonna make it into a spin-off. Yeah. They're gonna have like, the Walking Dead cereal. I wouldn't eat it.
All brains.
All brains. Don't eat it.
Now, that said though, what would a young Ezekiel show be like?
His dreads would be shorter. I don't know. It would be kind of cool to see him hanging out at the zoo, getting to know all of the animals.
Right.
Yeah.
How he met the tiger. How I met my tiger.
There you go.
There we go.
That's awesome. Now that's a spin-off.
There we go.
Daniel, good job.
Tweet that out.
Absolutely.
Now, as well as Walking Dead, of course, we have Teen Titans fans here.
All right, we got
there we go.
Yeah, that was my first voiceover job was Cyborg on Teen Titans.
Wow.
And I was just hoping that they would let me audition again, and I just got really lucky, and it turned out that all they needed for me to be is happy to have a job, because Cyborg sounds just like me, really happy to be employed.
Right.
I was like, I get the job? Are you serious? That's all he does.
Now, when it was your first voiceover job, did you have other auditions for other jobs?
No, it was my first.
Were you
one for
audition? You were 1 for 1?
I was 1 for 1. I was that guy who literally came up to bat and just knocked it out and sometimes they never heard from again, but this one actually stuck for a while.
Awesome.
And then if I didn't get that job, I'd still be wondering how to get a voice. People always ask me, how do you get a voiceover job? I was like, I don't know. get a voiceover job. That's all. That's the best I can do for you. You know, I'm really bad as far as advice concerning that. Except maybe just if you're gonna be creative no matter what, and eventually you'll find your spot. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Now, speaking of finding their spots, we actually have 2 microphones set up in the right spot, and you know, let's open it up for questions.
You're just giving up. You're like, I'm gonna throw down my questions and let somebody else talk.
So yeah, if you have questions for Mr. Khary Payton, let's open up the floor. We have here a microphone, and we have someone who would like to ask a question.
Well, you know what? I'll start just in case you're having trouble coming up with a question. I was born a poor black child. And then my dad graduated from medical school, and then I became like not as poor anymore. Then he said when I was 18, he was like, get out of my house. I said, okay, can I come back for Christmas? He was like, we'll talk about it. And then you know, a couple of years later, I got Cyborg, and he was like, oh, okay, I guess that's a real job. So that's my formative years. So we don't even have to talk about that anymore. Okay, what we got in there?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming. We've watched all of Teen Titans Go about 4 or 5 times with my daughter as well.
Booyah! Nice.
He's got a question for you, well. But my question is, like, we've only just started watching the original Teen Titans.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of crazy that he's so serious and not so, like, happy to be applauded in the first one. Was it difficult for you as a voice actor when they changed from Teen Titans to Go for you to find a new voice but still keep Cyborg?
No, it was because Cyborg is about as close to me just being me as any character that I play, and actually, the more you watch the old show, you'll realize that we do a lot of silly stuff in the old show too. There was an entire episode of the old Teen Titans show that I got transformed into a bear wearing a tutu. So it's not like it was all serious all the time on the old show, which is why we were able to kind of go back and forth pretty easily. And the 4 other people that I work with on the show, Hendon Walsh, Greg Sipes, Scott Menville, and Tara Strong, they're all such great actors, both comedically and dramatically, that it was really easy for us to kind of go back and forth. But yeah, I love both shows. I really love Teen Titans Go right now because they let me play so many different characters. I get to play the Tooth Fairy, you know, and so she wanted to be someone who was very creepy. And actually, I was basing it on Latka from Taxi, the old TV show Taxi. And so I wanted to be like, every time I said something, I wanted to be like, I'm going to take your tea, thank you very much. And they said, you can't say thank you very much, man, we're gonna get sued. And so it just became ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
Yeah, that's really creeps me out every time you do that. And I didn't know that was you. It thanks a lot, man.
I get to the couch spirit from the early episodes. That was just me doing Bootsy Collins. You know, they were like, make a relaxed voice, you know, that's gonna teach everybody to write. I was like, well, everybody's just gotta relax, baby. Sit down in this couch, you know, put your hands in my cushions. Okay, that was weird. And you know, but it's such a weird and varied show that it gives you a chance to, you know, come up with all of these odd character choices. I love it, but there's nothing like the old show. I'm glad you guys are getting back to watching it. Some of my favorite moments ever have been from that old show.
Awesome, thank you. And let's have another question.
So you've been in a lot of Teen Titans Go battles. What's the favorite battle you've been in?
Oh, my favorite Teen Titans Go battle. I was just talking about this backstage. It was when Cyborg went to the Justice League and put on Green Lantern's outfit and started like doing Green Lantern stuff. And we happened to be like a couple of weeks before we were recording some other episodes, and we just burst into songs singing the theme song from Golden Girls. I don't know, you kind of young for this, but it goes, thank you for being a friend, travel down the road and back again. And so we're all singing that song, and we're like, when we got to this episode, we're fighting Darkseid, like the strongest, you know, most evil dude in the entire DC universe. He was like, what can I come up with this Green Lantern ring? What can I fight Darkseid with? And I was like, the Golden Girls. You know, so
the original Justice League.
The original I took that Green Lantern ring and I made B. Arthur and Estelle Getty and we beat the crap out of Darkseid in true Golden Girls Teen Titans Go fashion.
There we go.
That's how it is.
We are applauding that.
That's why I love Teen Titans Go, is because we're doing a show for like the kids. But all we're doing is like being nostalgic for the 80s and the 90s, and I love it.
I love our references to Taxi and Golden Girls.
Oh man, yeah, we gotta do it. We use time travel science, which is what they did in the first Superman movie when Lois Lane died, spoiler alert, and then he went up in the world and he started spinning the world around, which doesn't make any sense at all. But you know what? We used it, we called it time travel science, and then we go back in time and we save somebody else get killed. You know what you do? You go back and use time travel science. Because that's what that is. It's physics, it's time travel science. We're teaching the children all the important math stuff.
There we go. We're learning so much here at Fan Expo.
Negan?
Oh yes, let's have a question over here. Thank you both.
How dare you come dressed like that?
Wow.
Next time bring a tiger or something, you know, come dressed all in an animal print, make me cry.
Hi, I'm Diego, or I guess right now I'm Negan.
No, you're Diego. You are your own person.
My question for you, what is your favorite King Ezekiel moment of all time?
You know what, it's weird because it's the most emotional moment of the scene, but it was when Shiva died. Because I played him being the king, him also being so distraught that he kind of lost himself. It was, you know, I got to kill like 3 zombies, at one time. It was like everything you love about The Walking Dead and hate about The Walking Dead, all in one little microcosm moment. It was really emotional for me because we not only lost Shiva, but so many other people in the kingdom, and to me, Shiva was like the embodiment of all of those people, and it was a really special moment. It was hot, it was rainy, it was disgusting outside, and I loved every minute of it. It was awesome. It was awesome. So yeah. So take that and depress yourself.
That was also my favorite. That some guy speech. That was the best.
Yeah. That was it was an incredibly written episode by Scott Gimple, and you can tell he loved to write for Ezekiel, and I got some really plum stuff out of there, definitely. Thank you, Diego.
You're playing the best King Ezekiel could have asked for.
Dude, thank you so much. I feel so lucky. I mean, how many times do you get as an actor to play a character that's this varied and intense and yet, you know, in the middle of this dark place of an apocalypse, you know, he's trying to keep the lights on. You know, I love the guy. I love the guy too. Thank you, Diego.
Thank you.
Come dressed as something different. come as Judith, man. Make me happy.
All right, back over here.
It's so good to have you here in Vancouver. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, man.
I just want to start off by saying Ray Fisher is a punk, and you are Cyborg to me forever.
Well, Ray Fisher was just trying to get a job, man. I'm not mad at Ray for wanting to get a job, you know. But I'm and I don't feel bad. I've been playing Cyborg for 16 years. I'm not the first to play Cyborg. I won't be the last to play Cyborg. But if you ask me, I'm Cyborg.
Do you think Teen Titans Go will ever graduate Cyborg to the Justice League full time?
No.
Okay.
But I mean, somebody will.
Okay.
But not maybe. But actually, we've had episodes where Cyborg graduated sort of to the Justice League. But you know, he loves his crew. And as long as we keep making the funny, we'll still keep doing Teen Titans Go. But we got Cyborg in Young Justice. Actually, it's the one time I don't play Cyborg. I just play, but I play his father and I play his mentor, and I play so many voices on that show already. I think that we needed to give somebody else a chance. But I kind of love the way that story's going. So yeah, Cyborg will live on. Awesome. And I kind of love that. I feel like a proud papa because before 16 years ago, nobody really knew who Cyborg was. I mean, if you read the comics, yes, but the greater world didn't really know. And I think because of Teen Titans, he became more known in the world, and without that show and what we did with it, I don't think Ray Fisher would have played, you know, Cyborg in the Justice League movie. So I feel like a proud papa.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And Deadpool is a ripoff of Deathstroke, the
It
Terminator.
is. It's true. It's
Thank you.
true. We only tell the truth on Teen Titans Go, man. We only tell the truth. Hello, my dear. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I love the outfit. You're making me cry. You're making my inner brain cry.
So I grew up with you as Cyborg, and you are actually one of my favorite people on the show.
Thank you. That's a lovely way of calling me old. Thank you so much.
Hey,
I appreciate it.
My mom and I, we watch you in Walking Dead. She always tries to fast forward, and I slap the remote out of her hand.
Right. You got to watch the zombies to get to the good stuff.
Of course.
You know, you do.
So my question to you is, if you could take anyone on the Teen Titans team, replace them, who would you replace them with? So it's who would you be replacing, and who are you replacing them with?
Wait, do you want me to take somebody from The Walking Dead and put them on Teen Titans Go?
Well, it's anyone in the Teen Titans team from anywhere.
From anywhere.
From anywhere.
And put them on The Walking Dead. I'm just saying, you know what? That's what I'm just gonna pretend like that was the question that you asked me, because that's what I'm thinking. Who from Teen Titans would I think I would have to go with Raven, because Raven is dark and mean, and frankly, I would want to be on her side in Apocalypse.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Exactly. I was like, I'd be like, listen, I'm gonna get up off this throne. Why don't you sit down? I will be your tiger, and let you rule. I'll let you rule the 7 kingdoms. That's what I say.
All right.
Raven. That's my first thought.
All right.
You know, she's pretty sick. She's pretty awesome.
Okay, and who from Walking Dead would you put onto the Teen Titans team besides Ezekiel?
Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry. I mean, come on. I mean, he would kind of fit in perfectly, honestly.
True,
you know, he could swing that axe around and, you know, make some cobbler. You know, they're all obsessed with food anyway. I think it would really work. I think we're gonna have to do a crossover episode.
Yes.
I like it.
I will set my PBR for it.
I love it. Let's do that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Over here, hello.
Hello, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I absolutely love your character Shikasta from Critical Role.
Yes.
Yes.
So excited. If you don't know what she's talking about, I guest starred on a YouTube program or a Twitch program that some friends of mine do called Critical Role, where they play Dungeons and Dragons online, and they're some of the most amazing voiceover actors that you ever want to meet, and they asked me to come and play a character on the show, or build a character and then and play with them, and the character's name is Shikasta. He's a Tempest cleric, which is like a storm magician, sorcerer, and he's blind, but he sees out of the eyes of a hummingbird who sits on his shoulder, and his name is Shikasta, and his hummingbird's name is the Grand Duchess Anastasia Nikolaevna. She is a beautiful little hummingbird, and they go kick ass together, you know, all over this you know, imaginary world they've created, and he's one of my favorite creations of all time. He's got this cool like a Snow White afro, milky white eyes, a hummingbird. I mean, if you can't have a tiger and you can't have an elephant, hummingbird.
Yes.
See out of the eyes of a hummingbird. And I can't wait to go back and play some more with Shikasta. I love it. I'm trying to figure out how to turn the whole thing into a TV show and a movie, because frankly, the only time I'm happier than having dreadlocks is when I had my afro. And it'll take me a couple of years to grow that bad boy out, and it might be gray by the time I do it.
But totally worth it. Awesome.
Well, you essentially answered my question, which was, if you do you know if you would be coming back anytime soon?
I don't know if I'm coming back exactly when I'm coming back, but I absolutely am looking forward to coming back. And I love working with those guys. They're some of the sweetest people you ever want to work with. But also, I can't remember the last time I just totally forgot myself, you know, playing a game. You know, there were moments that I looked up and I was like, oh, that's right, there are people watching. You know,
that's right.
It's awesome, and that's the beauty of D&D. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the show's completely improvised?
Completely improvised, and yeah, and how exciting and fun to be a part of something like that.
If you did go back, are you fairly certain you would come back as Shikasta, or would you explore a different character?
No, I want to come back as Shikasta.
Oh,
I mean, at least until you know, until they do another campaign. But I've only played Shikasta twice on the show, and I don't think that's nearly enough.
No.
Shikasta, you know, I want a spin-off. You know, if they kill me off of The Walking Dead, just expect a Shikasta spin-off. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
We need more floating Estelle Gettys in the world.
That's right. That's right.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I use the Golden Girls all the time.
Awesome.
They are the greatest weapon in the history of mankind. A crotchety old woman living in the heat of Miami. You don't want to mess with that woman? She will rip your hair off.
Over here, hello.
Yes, hello, welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you.
It was actually because of that Golden Girls episode I got into the Teen Titans Go. My daughter, who I'm going to try to embarrass a lot, who's sitting right there.
There she is. She's like, I'm used to it. Give it to me.
I saw that scene out of the corner of my eyes, and I was like, that's pretty funny.
That's the one.
So, I got two questions for you. One, I now play Night Begins to Shine every morning, because that song gets me pumped up.
It's the greatest song in the history of mankind.
Yes, so I guess it pumps you up too.
It does pump me up, and my daughters make me play it almost every day on the way to school. Well, that, and then now it was the Teen Titans Go to the Movies. You know, that we the duet we sang with Michael Bolton. It's I mean that's also if you don't watch Teen Titans Go, you should really watch it just for the music. There's a song that we sing with Michael Bolton in the movie it's an 80s inspirational song about life, and it starts off, are you feeling down like you just can't do it today? I can see your frown, but it's all gonna be okay. Now imagine that song with Michael Bolton singing with you. It is the best.
Michael Bolton just makes everything better.
Oh my God, he makes everything better. And then we ran over him with our car, which was also fun to do, because every once in a while it's too much Michael Bolton.
I don't know if there's too much Michael.
You can never have enough Michael Bolton.
Do you know though when season 5 is coming out here in Canada? We can't get it on Netflix here. Give me the insight.
Oh, you know what? I'm not sure when it's coming out, but trust me, it is coming.
You pull some strings, maybe get it here.
I'm gonna try. I will do my best, man. I will get on the phone. I promise you.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. But until then, the night begins to shine, and just know there are new episodes of The Night Begins to Shine coming out. We found this song in the Warner Brothers archives that people have written and recorded maybe 6 years ago. And we just fell in love with the song, so we just started making episodes about it. And we turned it into this kind of rock opera from the 80s, and people just absolutely loved it. And it's called The Night Begins to Shine. That's another one if you want to go back. If you want to imbibe whatever material might make your mind bend it all and watch that episode, I highly recommend it.
There we go. Now, two quick things actually. First off, we have about 15 minutes left, so we'll keep these questions a little bit quicker, and we'll bounce back and forth.
We'll try, Daniel.
We'll try.
I make no promises. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I can go off on a tangent.
I love it. Amazing. Here we go.
So you've done a lot of voices in Teen Titans Go. What's your favorite voice that you've done in Teen Titans Go?
Oh man,
I'm guessing it's Cyborg.
Yeah, Cyborg's kind of my favorite but I love all of the side voices that I get to do. I love the Tooth Fairy, and I love the Spirit of the Couch, because that was really my first one, and I also got to play the Spirit of Halloween. All of the spirits. They're like, all right, come on with another spirit. And but my favorite, honestly, might be Sticky Joe. My favorite is Sticky Joe. He says one word, howdy. But he says it like this. And that's all I ever have to say. But Sticky Joe is like a homeless dude who lives behind the Teen Titans Tower. And every once in a while they need to get saved. And nobody can do it but Sticky Joe. And whenever he saves them, they say, "Thanks, Sticky Joe." And he says, "Hey." And I love him to death. I love him to death. My favorite voice that I do that's not Cyborg though, a couple of years ago I took over the voice of Rafiki from The Lion King. And so I did the voice for the cartoon and some video games and different things like that. And that's the only time I ever called my mom. I was so excited about the job that I'd gotten. I was like, "Mom, I get to be Rafiki." And so it's the only time my daughters would listen to me, really. When if I tell them that it's time to go to bed, I tell them it is time for you to do this for me. Because it goes up high. And then he gets very low sometimes. I love him to death. I can only do it for about 7 minutes because I'm exhausted. He keeps going up and down and up it's great. I love it.
It's a good parent life hack.
It's weird in the middle of the night. Sometimes the voices come out. But normally they stay the same. What you got over here, Mike?
Thank you for the question.
Hi, I do watch Walking Dead and watch Teen Titans Go with my daughter, but I first heard of you from doing Grimlock, so...
Oh yeah, Grimlock. Grimlock, I got to play in Transformers, Robots in Disguise a couple of years ago. He was my own sort of Grimlock, you know.
Yeah, I loved your take on him, and sorry, I don't have a specific question, I just want to make sure we talked about Transformers.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, we got it in, man. We got it in.
Thank you.
Grimlock. My version of Grimlock was like an old jazz man. You know, it was like if you had a robot dinosaur, you know, that played jazz piano at a dusky bar in Detroit. That would be my Grimlock. Be like, "Everybody, I'm just so glad you're here today. This was going out to Optimus Prime. I love you, Optimus."
So like a Transformers La La Land?
There you go. That's it, man.
I would totally watch that.
That's how I would do my sound check. I just sing a different song, you know. God bless the child. Is this on? Let's play. Man, I'm feeling so very relaxed right now.
That's great. That's what we love here at FanX Vancouver.
Hey, welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you so much.
It's great having you here. Actually, just a question. You talk about your influences for your characters. Who was your influence for Ezekiel?
My influence for Ezekiel is twofold, I would say. It is two uncles of mine. My Uncle Kurt, my mom's brother, oldest brother. He was, actually it's Kurt and my Uncle Smay. My Uncle Smay's real name is Richard. His name is Smay. That's a long story. I'll tell you that later. Smay is actually incredibly articulate, but he's from Macon, Georgia, and for the most part he doesn't have to be. So his speech is very relaxed, like, you know, and he'll be like, "Hey man, let me take your car. Come here, man, let me take." And so kind of doesn't use the consonants if he doesn't have to, but he can switch it, and if he needs to be, he's one of the most articulate people I've ever heard in my life. And so and the idea of Ezekiel, you know, having this very heightened speech, and then but then when he relaxes it, you know, that's kind of a Smay thing, but my great uncle, great uncle Nesbitt is my father's uncle, and he's actually who I based my kind of Shakespearean speech on. He's from Savannah, Georgia, and he's got an old school drawl, and would always say, "Corey, do you know what that word is? Get the dictionary. Let's talk about it." You know, and he had a very kind of slow way of speaking. And when I would do Shakespeare in my 20s, I kind of based my cadence on my Uncle Neb. And so I guess I have to thank my grandmother and my great grandmother for having so many interesting uncles for me to, you know, I steal everything. I don't know if you realize this or not. Everything, I'm just stealing from all of these interesting characters from my life. And
that's just voice acting. That's
that's the way we do it.
From everywhere. Carol, you actually drop the whole Ezekiel thing, and you actually talk to her real, and you actually get her to see that that's what your kingdom needs. Is they need you to be that.
Exactly. You're you know, I always tell people that in your work life, you don't speak necessarily the same way you do in your regular life. You know, when politicians make speeches, that's not how they talk. That's how they need to express themselves in that sense. And this is all Ezekiel is that this seemed to work. Yeah. You know, to keep my people safe. Until he ran into Rick and everybody. You know, when you run into Rick, happy people get killed.
As everybody.
Yeah, that's true, man. It's the only way to make it interesting. Thank you so much, buddy. Great question.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Hi. Ezekiel has some great lines. Did you get to improvise any of that?
Well, no. You know what? I get into a lot of trouble because on my cartoon, Teen Titans Go, we improvise just about everything. Like nothing is sacred. They write it, and then the animators come and scribble all over it, and they're like, change that, do that, and then we improv on top of it. As long as it's funny, we don't care. Just change it, make it funny. You know, if the fart wasn't funny, then take the fart out. Usually the farts are funny, so we leave them in. But we are constantly playing with the language. In The Walking Dead, there's so many characters, and especially when Scott Gimple was the showrunner. Scott is he would say he's meticulous. I would say he's neurotic, and I would have to write a dissertation in order to move a comma, you know. But there was one time that I changed something, and when I was working with Scott. And it was this moment with Lenny James, one of the greatest actors ever living. Lenny James, who plays Morgan on The Walking Dead. Now he's on Fear the Walking Dead. But there's this thing that Lenny does when he's about to tell you something, and he kind of looks into the air, like looking for truth, and he comes back with truth. And there was this moment that we're having this intimate conversation, and I was like, he's not going to be looking at me, and I need him to look at me. And I wanted to say, I wanted to change the line to look at me. You know, that's all I wanted. And Scott was like, no, somebody said look at me earlier, and you can't change, you can't do that. And I was like, I got to tell him something. I've got to get him to look at me in this moment. And so we were going back and forth, and I was like, fine, I'll figure out how to make it work. And at the last minute, Scott said, if he's not looking at you in that moment, say his name. And so the one time I got to change it was one word, and it was Morgan. And that's the only. Now with Angela, it's a little more. We kind of play with the language a little bit more and get a little bit more of a back and forth, and I really enjoy that aspect of it as well. But I also kind of love that Scott always made me work for it, made me work for that comma and that one word. Oh man, look at this. This is just like when doing stand-up, man. You got to get 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
What's your favorite piece of zombie media that isn't The Walking Dead?
Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite movies of all time. And literally, when he goes into the shed at the end, and he's chained up to it, and he starts to kind of gnaw on him, and he's like, stop that. And Queen starts playing. I swear to God, I tear up every time. I tear up every time. I think it's not just one of the best zombie movies ever. It's one of the best movies ever. Period. Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead.
There we go.
Oh my God. You're my best friend. Between that and the Golden Girls, I'm not gonna be able to make it.
Thank you. Excellent.
Hi. I just have to say, reading the comic books, you are perfect for King Ezekiel.
Thank you so much.
I love it so much. My question is, out of all the deaths on The Walking Dead, besides Shiva, what has been the worst for you, the hardest to deal with as a person, like having someone leave?
That's really difficult because I love everybody on the show. It's a toss-up between but the one that was toughest for me was were the Kingdom guys that I came onto the show with. Because right now, of the people that I came on with, there was Carl McKinnon, Carlos Navarro, Logan Miller, who played Benjamin, Carl, who played Richard, Carlos played Alvaro. They were smaller characters, but when I came on the show, we were all hiding in Atlanta because nobody could know that I was Ezekiel, and there were about 5 months before they had that first trailer where Sheba growled and I said, "Welcome to the kingdom" for the first time, and so those were literally like my family. We just stuck together. We ate together. We did everything together because we couldn't even tell anybody. They're like, "What are you doing in Atlanta?" And I'd say, "Oh, I'm here for the flooring convention." I couldn't say what. And when I would go back to Los Angeles and they say, "Where were you shooting?" I told somebody the truth once and I said Atlanta, and they were like, "Are you doing The Walking Dead?" And so I started telling people that I was in Vancouver. I did. I would tell people that I was shooting something in Vancouver because to throw them off the set. But all of those guys, those are the guys that I miss the most, because for a year we were all each other had. It was before I even really got introduced to the main cast of The Walking Dead. So those guys will always be my heart. It's now just me, Cooper, who plays Jerry, and Carrie, who plays Diane, my archer, that they just gave back to me. She went off to Hilltop for a while, and I kept bitching. And Angela Kang, who's the showrunner, I was like, "Why are you taking my people? Did you see all my people getting slaughtered in that field? You gonna take my people? Like I got archers to lose? I can't lose no archers. Bring me back my archer. Give me back my archer." And finally she was like, "Carl, just shut up. I'll give her back to you." So the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's what I said. But yeah, those first guys from the kingdom. And she was kind of the embodiment of them, And I'll always love that time where nobody knew who I was. Everybody was, if they were speculating, they were like, "I think it's going to be this guy, and I think it's going to be that guy." And I was like, "No, it's just me, this guy you never heard of, sorry." Sorry to disappoint you, but everybody seemed really happy. I feel really fortunate that the internet hasn't turned on me like they turned on so many people, and that was good old nostalgia times, the salad days. But thank you for that. It's always good to remember and talk about those guys.
Awesome, thank you so much. Now, Kari, as well as all this stuff that we've talked about, are you working on any projects right now that?
I'm really excited. We're in the middle of the third season of Young Justice. It is this woo! I squeak like that when I think about it too. That was the cutest. It was like a little mouse just ran by here and just squeaked out when I said that. But Young Justice is I think it's one of the best TV shows on television. Not just cartoon wise. It's a cartoon about the kind of like the sidekicks of the Justice League. They gave them their own team to do kind of undercover operations. Learning the business of being superheroes, and it was on for 2 years. There was a toy deal with the Green Lantern movie that we were, and when the Green Lantern movie tanked and was horrible, they canceled the show, but everybody clamored for it online for years, and it just came back this year. We did it. Yes, we did it. We did it. The fans brought it back, and we have 26 new episodes. We showed the first 13 already this year. We've got another 13 to show. I think it is literally one of the best shows I've ever been a part of, but also just period. I think that the character development, the humor, the twists and turns are just awesome. So if you're into DC stuff at all, I would highly recommend you go back and find a Young Justice. I believe it's on Netflix here, yeah? They haven't released the third one yet here? Okay. I think it'll be here on Netflix, actually. I think so. It's coming on Netflix. So look for that. I love it so much. Critical Role we talked about. I hope to be doing again. And of course, we got a few more episodes of The Walking Dead coming out that I cannot wait for you guys to see.
Awesome. Perfect. Now, Cara, you're around all weekend?
I will be here all weekend, absolutely. If
head on up.
And if you don't see me at the booth, I'm probably at Cypress Mountain. Just come on up. I just learned to ski and I love it so much. So I could not be in a better spot. And
Awesome.
and it's like 7 minutes away, right? It's like 7 minutes to get to Cypress Mountain. I may go right now. I may go right now.
And very quickly, for people who want to find you on social media, you are on the socials?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Kari Payton. It's real simple. If you can spell my name, you got it right.
Perfect. There we go. And of course, during today, if you took some photos, feel free, please tag at FanExpo, at OfficialFanXFXV on Instagram, and use the hashtag FXV19. And you know what? The weekend's just getting started, and the fun is just getting started with
Thank
Kari
you guys
Payton.
so much for coming.
One more
out.
time,
Thanks
Kari
for
Payton.
being supportive.
There we go.
Can't wait to meet everybody. It's going to be awesome. All right.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.